I guess nothing wants to work tonight. So everything tested out, but now it doesn't want to work. So I'm not gonna waste any more time. All the sponsors are below. Had the Hurricane Milton shirts on the CabbageshackArtworks.com. Everything's listed below, and the guests tonight, all their information is below. I'm gonna bring them on. Hopefully they can hear me, because everything is messed up right now for some reason. So here they are. Hey, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I do not know what's going on with anything. See, it went back to, let's see if it's working. Y'all still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's live stuff and in the hotel. So I left it. I left everything at home. Anyway, I messed up because of nothing worked right. So anyway, this is Wes and Mary Christy. I think we met about 2 years ago at the iCrib, and that's when I wanted to do the women's magazine. That was when we first talked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that kind of went to the wayside. No, that's another episode right there. But anyway, saw some of the stuff. I mean, everybody else knew who you were, and I just kind of tend to keep to myself. I have what I do, and that's good enough for me. And then started seeing some of y'all's stuff, and yeah, and the stuff you're putting out now is crazy. Some neat, pretty neat stuff now, and yeah. So let's just start into it. Where y'all from? Either one of y'all can start if y'all grew up together, or yeah, however you want to introduce yourself. Tell where you grew up, how you grew up, and then we'll get into how y'all met and stuff. So,
well, both of us were born and raised in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We still live here, but I grew up dancing, singing, acting, working on a 100-acre farm. Didn't have a whole lot of time to go fishing or vacationing because my family didn't really do that. And go ahead.
I pretty much grew up with football, baseball, soccer, all sports, all through schools. Every weekend we would go down to the beach, fish, hunt during the winter and fall, and that was pretty much it. That was all the time you had. So.
Yeah. So did y'all? How'd y'all meet? Coincident, or was it in school, or?
We're laughing because it's a funny story.
So in Rock Hill, originally they only had, what was it? Four middle schools. Mm-hmm. They added a fifth one, combined a bunch of people together, and we met in 7th grade.
We went to the new middle school. We met in 7th grade. And then when they were supposed to have the new high school built before we got to 9th grade, but they didn't. And it actually didn't happen until like 2000. And
it was after we graduated.
It was after we graduated. But so we were in school for 2 years. I always had like a boyfriend or whatever, but Wes and I always really liked each other.
Don't let her lie.
I'm not lying. I'm not lying. He always tries to make it look like I was lying, but we ended up getting separated and going to the 2 different high schools. And he is my stalker because he actually looked for me for 12 years. Finally found me on Facebook, and we started dating again.
Was it light stalking, or was it a heavy stalking?
It was light.
It was light. He was just asking people that he knew that knew me if they'd talked to me and trying to find me and stuff. It wasn't creepy. But
as far as she knows.
I hope, anyways.
So I guess the bigger question, I mean, talking about now do y'all have kids, or how many kids you got?
2 boys.
2 boys?
5. Yep, 9 and 5.
9 and 5. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And which one? The youngest one gives you trouble?
They both do, but yeah, the youngest is definitely the wild child. Just he knocked one of his front teeth out when he was 2. So he is literally the just do it and ask questions later child.
Okay. All right. Ask for forgiveness later. Yeah. When did y'all, or which one of y'all started like getting into rock? I mean, how'd you end up doing that?
So my grandfather got interested in it in like early 2000s.
Yeah.
And we started going to the International Expo when it was back in Charlotte in like 2005, 2006.
Yeah.
Then I started a business building them in 2010. And then we met in 2011. And she had no idea that custom fishing rods were even possible. Or as to why you would do it.
Right.
We were up in my grandfather's shop above the garage, and
it's the first time I've been there. First time.
Yeah. Now, just to kind of set the scene, you walk up there and there's probably 3,000 lures hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
We had, when we inventoried it, it had close to 300 fishing rods.
Really?
Another 200 reels.
Was it the old school wood lures and everything?
No, it was like early 90s bass tournament stuff.
Okay.
We used to fish the Red Man Trail back in the day.
Okay. All right.
It was just wall fishing stuff all over the place, and I was like, "What is all this?"
Now, did you do any tournament fishing, or you just?
No, I never really got into it.
Yeah.
Growing up, doing sports and all, and then going off to college, I jumped right into school and stuff like that. So.
Right.
But you did the tournaments for like the pier.
Yeah. We ran in weekend pier tournaments and things like that, but
right.
Nothing as far as like bass tournaments.
Yeah. Now, now which one do you prefer? Saltwater, freshwater?
It'd have to be saltwater.
Saltwater.
Okay. All right. I'm with you. Where I live now is where I call home, where I grew up, high school and middle school and all that. But I mean, there's 100 lakes in the county, and one big one that monster bass all the time there. But my granddad got me into. We go to his house an hour and a half away. He buy a dozen shrimp, and we get in the John boat and go mangrove fishing. And so it just really got me into, saltwater stuff. And I always said that you could always catch something no matter what, saltwater. I have been skunked, but very rarely.
Right.
But as far as freshwater, I'm specks, we call it, or crappie brim. I just like doing that. I never really got into bass fishing, and the only freshwater I really like now is peacock bass and Oscar fish, just all the crazy exotic stuff in South Florida. So
yeah.
So what was the name of your rod company when you first started, or was it just you were just doing it?
No, it was Palmetto Rod and Reel.
Okay, all right. Palmetto State, South Carolina. I get it. Did you do? I mean, do you still do that, or y'all just mainly just do the like real custom, or do y'all still call it that, or anything?
Well, we basically 2019 when the youngest was born. We went through some dramas with some companies, and we took a sabbatical. And then when that year ended, Wes didn't want to continue on with Palmetto. He wanted to change something if he was going to do it. And 21 is when I basically started the Decorative Studio, kind of like an education kind of thing, along with taking in customs and stuff. Like, we don't do real cleaning or repairs anymore. Wes kind of burned himself out doing that for years.
Well, that and when you started to break down what you were actually making, nobody wants to pay what it's worth to do that.
Well, and then parts started to get aggravating to get into.
Yep.
So, but we'll still do repairs on rods, do a lot of customs. Obviously, been doing a lot of grips and things of that nature. But
which you did one for me, the bat one. So, you know, I never got into the real decorative thread like you do. I don't have patience for that. I know it takes pretty good patience, would you say?
Oh yeah.
But I dabbled in it when I first started. I started in 13, and I had this guy from Oregon. Never really, you know, I did just some chevrons or something, but there's a guy in Oregon. He found me. I don't know how he found me, and I thought he was like a nobody. And then I looked him up, and he does these bronze sculptures, bronze statues and stuff, and he makes them out of wood first, and then he does his. Anyway, come to find out, like, our presidents would buy statues from him to give to other countries.
Woo.
I mean, like, his minimum little bronze frog was like $3,000, and it was small.
Oh my God!
Like, one of his pieces was $67,000. It was and I was like, wow. So I never really did anything. He said, hey, I want this and this as far as the wrap. He said,
we lost your mic. We can't hear you.
I don't know how that happened.
There it goes.
I don't know where I was at, but
you had asked him about the thread.
What I found out doing those wraps, and y'all tell me if I'm wrong, a lot of people won't pay for the time that you put into it. Some of them. That was just
pretty fair, yeah.
Do y'all ever get that, or?
I mean, we kind of built, like, when we were doing, when it was Palmetto.
What happened?
Okay, so when it was.
Hold on. For some reason, you are muted now.
We good?
Anything? Can you hear me? I can't hear y'all. I don't know what's going on. Hold on. It did it again. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know what's going on with this. Anyway. All right. Start over. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's the fun of live. It's going to happen.
That's right.
Back when it was Palmetto and, like, we were kind of getting our feet off the ground with the wraps and stuff like that, people were coming to us specifically for the wraps. And so it was just kind of like that's what the clientele was building. Now, for the most part, there's a lot of argument among all rod builders. There's people who are going to pay for certain things and they're not going to want other stuff, you know. But anybody that's come to me has always wanted a wrap. So I don't know, we just kind of built that reputation where they're like, you're going to see thread on your rod in some way, shape, or form if you get one from Mary West, you know.
Right.
But we do a lot of internet stuff too. We don't do local. If we were doing local stuff, we wouldn't be selling anything because these people don't want the stuff I do. It's all bass guys around here. So
So when did y'all start the like the online stuff in the Thread Central? Is the Thread Central where people, well, one can learn, but two buy a certain thread, or is it just teaching people how to do it?
So threadcentral.net is where my courses and my inventory, along with David Boyle, who I'm partnered up with for that website. So visual wraps on there. Okay. So it's kind of like we don't have thread for sale currently, but we have like stuff like EVA. There's books, there's the software programs with visual wrap. I have my courses on there. I'm going to have an EVA course being put out within the next week or so to also be put on that website. Eventually, the idea with it is kind of grow it into this one-stop shop that everybody can get all the decorative kind of stuff that they need to make whatever that they want to do. But it's just, a slow grow kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I didn't start those classes until
22.
No, I started the online classes in 2019. 2019. Okay. The only reason why I remember that is because I had my laptop with me at the hospital when I gave birth, and I hit go on the very first course after the baby was here. And everybody's like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "It's fine. Like, he's sleeping. I'm fine. Like, it's fine. Just send it." So that's the only reason why I remember it was 2019. But I've been trying to get. I have probably like 10 or 11, I think. But I got so backed up with work this past year and a half that I haven't been able to put another one out. But once the EVA course goes out, I'm going to start making sure I make time to do the wrap courses again, because a lot of people got a lot of use out of them because people can't really travel to everybody's homes to learn from them, or they'd read a book and they didn't understand what it was saying, and so I started teaching or making the classes, and I've got over 500 students enrolled, so it's kind of cool considering how small the rod building community is,
Yeah. I think when I first started, I went and I needed a new redfish rod and went to a tackle store, and I said, "Hey, I need to stock up again." And I was looking at all these, name brand rods, and tackle store, well, we got our custom, and I'm looking at it, it's just black thread, gold trim, cork handle, and I was like, huh. And then all of a sudden on Facebook, I see one of my buddies has a rod company in South Florida. And I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do it. So I watched like, I don't know, 2-3 months of just videos on how to do this, how to do this. I had questions. And Mudhole, the problem, I don't know how they do it now. And I know they have a nicer facility to do the classes, but Get Bed Outdoors, Kevin, he was doing classes once a month. Where you could go there, and Mudhole, you go and look for the class, and then it'd be, we're going to be in Alabama, the time you wanted to go. And I was like, crap. So I went to Kevin, and he says, started telling me. I was like, look, I just have a few questions. I sat there, had all mine done. He said, you want to do the epoxy and you can come back and get it. I said, I'm not driving all the way over here. I need all the stuff I need to do my own stuff, and I'm just going to take it to the house with me. But and here recently I've been approached by a mom where I'm she asked me to order a rod building kit, and now she's wanting me to come over and spend a day with her son, teach him how to do the rod stuff. And I've been looking at doing the program, that high school program, trying to get in the FFA down where I'm at, because you see all the videos of all the northern schools like Wisconsin, Michigan, and they have it. And I was like, why doesn't anybody in Florida do that? Or at least I don't. They might, but I don't know. Do they do that up there in South Carolina or anything in the FFA?
Honestly, I haven't heard anything specifically, or at least close to us. I'm sure that somebody, at least in Columbia or something like that's probably got something going on.
Yeah.
But because they're starting to actually put like fishing teams in the high schools and stuff now, so I'm sure they're moving towards teaching.
So they don't have that there. I mean, they don't have. Is that like a prominent thing, or are they just now getting the high school fishing going?
They're just now.
Yeah, just in the past few years.
Yeah.
This has been so weird to me. So I moved from where I live now in Lake Placid, Florida. When I was 19, I moved to Alabama, and I lived up there for 28 years and then moved back. But up there, I had friends of mine, their son got a full ride fish, for fishing. And I started checking into it. And then one of my other buddies, they said, "Hey, can you build rods for my son? He's in high school." It was so popular in Alabama. They had the high school fishing, just regular where it works on points and everything, that this big marine company that sold boats and everything, they decided to get in on it. And so they had their own tournament that was high school that you could actually win money, but part of your percentage of your money had to go to the school. So you couldn't win it outright, but it got so big that they had a classic at the end, and they would give one of those kids a boat, whoever won it.
Wow.
That's how big. So when I moved back down to Florida, the guy I do the Friday night show with, his grandson, he had to go Sebring. He had to go, I don't know, hour and a half away to fish for a high school because that was the only one around where I live. And I was like, we have 100 lakes in our county, and there's not each high school doesn't have their own fishing team. It's just kind of weird, but yeah, I mean, I'd never seen nothing like it in Alabama. I mean, kids, even small colleges, just full rides. Hey, you come help us start, and we'll pay for everything. And I'm like, where was that when I was growing up?
Right? That's awesome.
So, so your new stuff you've been doing, I just seen recently you're dabbling in the plaid EVA.
Yeah.
Has that been
Oh, that's been a thorn in my hip for a couple months now, to be honest. I haven't seen anybody do plaid, and like I always have customers. Any crazy thing that I've done, somebody's asked me to do it 9 times out of 10. And I had him come to me and he's like, "Could you do a plaid grip?" And I was like, "I don't know, but if you'll give me time to kind of sort through it, I'll try,
Yeah.
And I'm on version 6 at this point.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be the winner. I got it. I got the little pieces. Well, the other kicker is that this guy ordered tiny little grips. So I've only got 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, and a 2-inch fighting butt.
Oh, you don't have this square where you can really dabble.
Well, in order to, I tried to do like a square, with the design and like turn it down, but because of how it was made, it wasn't turning down pretty. So I had to go to like a checkerboard kind of style so that it would do it all at the same as I sanded it.
Yeah.
But the length of it is crazy. But this one, I've got 6 more cuts and glues on it before I can even see if it's going to work. And I'm all like, I've already cut it like 12 times, and glued it back together. So it's a labor of love, that one. I told him, I said, I definitely didn't charge you enough for it, but it is what it is.
Let's see, the acrylic stuff. I hadn't seen how you do that, but is that like just acrylic paint pens, or Is that how you've been doing, like the trout one? I guess.
Oh, yeah, it's just paint pens. That's all it is. Acrylic paint pens.
And that's on cork. Is
Mm-hmm.
all those on cork?
So I take the image and I transfer it, and then like I burn it so I have an outline to follow, and then I go back in and just I'm basically filling in, coloring the dots, kind of thing. But afterwards, you obviously have to seal it because it's not going to stay there. So
Right.
U40, the cork U40
Corks.
is good for it.
Yeah.
And the other one that actually works is by Cork for Us. It's their cork sealer. Both
Okay.
of those will keep the color. One of them, the only difference really between the two is one you got to add more often, and the U40 has kind of like it's not a tacky, but there's a little bit of like a grippy texture to it once it's dried.
Yeah.
It leaves like a residue on top of it.
Yeah.
U40, is that, well, you couldn't put can you put epoxy on it?
Yeah, you could seal it with epoxy. I just wanted to try to keep the cork texture as much as possible.
I got you. And that's why you do the cork sealer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense. And that the American flag one, yeah, I mean, basically anytime you do the paint stuff, you just transfer the image on there. Is that pretty much how you do that? Do you have a class on that stuff?
I haven't got a class on that yet. But for the flag one that I just did, that one was, we took a whole bunch of images, obviously for the U.S. Navy.
Gotcha.
And I basically took all these images and like transferred them to the cork, but then I went back and burned it. And like by transferring it is just, doing the outlines of it.
Yeah, right.
And then had to come back in and shade it and stuff. And it's actually a lot of fun. It's, it's time consuming to sit there and color it, but you also can use watered down acrylic paint. So you don't have to just use a paint pen, but you can use, and I figured that out because one of my blue paint pens decided to be a booger. And in the middle of coloring the blue background, it went from like this kind of navy blue to like all of a sudden it's going to be royal blue. And I hadn't done anything different to it. Yeah. So I had to just trash the whole thing and start over. And I couldn't find a blue I like, so I just went and bought some blue paint and watered it down a little bit, and it did great. So he's actually fishing with it right now. I've gotten 2 pictures with him with fish.
That's awesome.
Already.
Yeah, that's awesome. Where was he at? In South Carolina, or is he?
No, he's upstate. It went to
Chesapeake Bay area.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the furthest away you've to somebody you've done a rod?
My first international shipment went to Japan.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Went to a military base in Japan.
Was the brook trout? The brook trout.
That was the brook trout one. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, it's got to go to Japan. Oh crap.
Yeah. Well, I did one. I've done one to Australia, a marlin rod, and of course, I did it during COVID. So it took a year and a half to be able to send it because she wanted some girls like hats and stuff, girls fish better hats. So I sent it and it was like, I don't know, probably cost me $25-$30 to send it. Wasn't bad. So I went to get pricing on the rod because I told her, I said, I'll make you some deals on it, but you have to pay for the shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And so I go to the post office and I ask them because to me that it was just easier to go through them. And he goes, yeah, Australia's not letting us ship anything to Australia right now. This was during COVID where Australia was crazy. So, but where she was, it was just amazing. She said, I live in a town of 2,500 people. That was before COVID. She said after COVID, there was 25,000 people had moved there because they didn't go crazy like the big cities.
Wow.
Yeah. But she's a big anyway, it took a year and a half to be able to get it. I think it cost me like $150 to ship 2 pieces the bent handle and then the rod.
Yeah.
But because of their lockdown, like one time he said, "All right, you can bring it in next week, and we'll be able to ship it." I get there and he's like, "Yeah, no, we're not allowed to take a plane there." I was like, "What the crap?" Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, that's the only one I've done, but that's cool. Japan's so is a military base is what that one was.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, trying to fill out that custom sheet with all that stuff was, I was like, I don't even know where this is supposed to go.
I think it went through customs like 4 different times in Japan.
Yeah, it did.
Really?
I watched it go through each check.
Oh wow. Let's see. What's your favorite thread what's one that you really enjoy doing that you've done? Is there one particular that is pretty cool or
Like for the decorative wraps?
yeah.
Man, I got so many. It's not even funny. All of them have this level of aggravation to them, but they all have this, like, one of the ones that I have regret ever letting it go is in California, and it was like a gray and red color scheme, and it was actually the Impossible Star, which was what Elsa's was, and another one that I've got here. And but the colors just look so good. But I obviously I'm a little keen for my sugar skull wraps too, because those were ones that I kind of came up with. But then I got the Phoenix. I mean, there's so many that I like. It's very hard to pick like what is my favorite, because if I don't like it, I don't wrap it.
Right. Now, do you do trial and error on the bigger tubes like I've seen you do, or do you just go right at it?
Oh yeah, I screw up all the time. I mean, I'll mess up layout on, or I'll do too much, and then it's like, this isn't going to work, so I have to cut it back off. But a lot of times, those ones that I'm screwing up, I'm trying to put like 2 or 3 patterns together to take up space on those bigger things I'm working on.
Right.
But I mean, I go through it. I mean, I've got video proof on the Phoenix. I cut it off. Elsa, for once, I thought I was going to have to cut that one off, but I did manage to save that one, and she was fine. And the sugar skulls, I've cut them off a couple times where they finally got finished. Like,
yeah.
Wes always laughs because when I first started learning how to do it, I refused to cut a wrap off. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I'll let you explain the rest of it because you just laughed so hard about it.
She wouldn't cut them off. She'd see the mistakes, be not okay with the mistakes, but would not cut it off. So I told her, so well, if you can't fix it at this point, how else are you gonna fix it other than to cut it off? Well, I don't know. So I just grab a razor blade and shoot. Well, here, it's cut. Go for it.
Eventually, I learned it was better just to cut them off, and so now I get all kinds of nicknames like Slice Queen and Mary Scissor Fingers and stuff like that, because like I'll just cut a wrap off for no reason, and people are like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, I didn't like it.
Mary Scissor Finger, that's a good one.
Yeah,
that's who came up with that one?
Oh man, I don't know. I really don't, because like that one was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's somebody in the Facebook group Southern Rod Builders. I don't remember who it was. It could have been Chris. It could have been Chris Lick with Sharkbound.
Could have been.
But he always gets so mad at me when I cut a wrap off. It makes him so furious, and I always like pick at him and always like try to tag him and be like, "Hey Chris, look," and he's like, "Ah." It's kind of funny.
How now? Wes, do you do a lot of the EVA or mess with the EVA or
not as much? No. A lot of times here lately, I've been fairly busy with work.
Yeah.
So I'm coming in doing like epoxy and the finishing touches on things.
He listens to me complain, is what he does, about how I can't make a 90-degree cut.
Or she'll ask me like, "Hey, how do I do this cut?" You just draw a center line and do it. Like, I don't understand what you're asking. She'll come back and it's not right. It's it's like a 1/4 inch longer on this side than this side. So I'll just go over there and freehand it, and here, this is it.
I guess they're
Well, how'd
mad
you
at
do
me
it?
when he does that. He's like, I don't know, I just did it. And I'm like, then just do it again. No, you need to figure it out. No, just do it again because I'm on the 3rd row of this. Like, let's go. But he's not here as much because he works full time. So, but on the week he'll come in and bust out some cork. Like he builds rods for himself while I'm trying to get customer stuff done. Like one that's back here, this telescopic rod. He comes in and just like, I'm making my rod today. And I'm like, and what about the other 5 orders that are sitting over here we need to work on?
Let's only take one night.
I'm making my rod today. So he's literally come in here the last couple of months and built 2 rods for himself. And I always make him do epoxy for me. He's like I'm like, you do the epoxy. If you're not going to do anything else, do epoxy. Jesus. I'm building my rod today.
Yeah. Well, we were supposed to be going down to Florida for a fishing trip and the advanced seminars.
But Milton rearranged the schedules. So.
Yeah. Have they rescheduled that?
Not yet.
Not officially.
There's talk of it being like earlier in the year, but there's nothing written in stone yet. So they're trying to work around 70 people's schedules, you know, that's awful.
Well, that, and we have to be there for 6 different classes we're teaching.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, one of Don's good friends, I forget his name. I got him. We were scheduled. I was scheduled to take him peacock bass fishing on that Monday. He was going to come in, have the class, and then Monday I was taking him, and he texts me, says, yeah, they're not letting me fly in. So yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I had tornado in our neighborhood.
Oh wow!
I have a picture of where it took out this part of the solar fields. Like it literally shows a streak through the solar panels, and then it lifted up.
Wow!
Jeez.
Oh yeah, crazy. Yeah, the tornadoes were worse this time. I mean, that's the first time I've seen it. Because when I moved to Alabama, I moved in Tornado Alley, so I've seen them all the time. Luckily, I mean, I was blessed not to have one come through the house, but yeah, that's the first time I've seen it that bad. The tornadoes is crazy.
There was so many that were all across the state. It was insane.
Yeah, my sister over on the East Coast was worse. I mean, I didn't even know until later. Had a buddy like Fort Pierce and Vero just got demolished, like an F3. I think they said F3 went through there and just like it was. One guy said he seen pictures of where the tornado just took a dumpster, like a 30-yard dumpster, and put it on top of houses.
I saw that one. Yeah. I saw the one where it's just literally sitting on top of the house, and I was like, "Oh my God! Can you imagine like being in the house if that happened?"
Well, so the one tornado started probably 20, 30 feet in front of me. It never caught, but it started spinning, like 80-mile-an-hour wind type spinning, and it picked up and went 2 blocks and went through the trailer park.
Oh,
and
no.
My friend sent me somebody's ring camera from the trailer park, and you see the tornado coming through. It tore off the ring camera stayed right there, but it tore off like the carport. But while it was still running, it showed that tornado picking a whole mobile home up and just tossing it. You never saw it. I mean, it tossed it like 2 or 3 rows over.
Jeez.
Craziest thing I've ever seen. So, yeah. Getting back at it. So, have y'all been peacock bass fishing before?
No, I would love to, though.
Yeah. Let me know when all that gets worked out. I got a couple captains down there that I do rods for, and they usually help me with taking out people. I don't.
The mic went away again.
Y'all hear me again?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't touch nothing. I might have to buy a new audio mixer. But anyway, yeah, y'all come down again. We'll set it up because I got some two pretty good guys that yeah, it's fun. The clownfish and the peacock bass. But let's see. When did you start doing stuff for Mudhole, or did you start with American Tackle or was it Mudhole?
Started with American Tackle. I got picked
now
up.
I lost y'all. What in the world? I think everybody can hear you. I just can't.
No. No.
Golly, I swear. Okay, I'm back. I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
In 22, American Tackle. With the conversation that Wes initiated, he talked to Kevin Landers at that point in time and was like, "Hey, Mary would like." What did you say?
No, we had been talking, and he said, I'd really be interested in trying to, like sponsor and support somebody like that, and see how far we could take it. Well, yeah. I talked to Mary. I was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about being sponsored?" She's like, "I mean, I'd be down for it, but I don't know how to have those conversations."
Right.
I just walked.
Wes said, "Hold my beer."
I was like, "Hey, if you're serious about it, go talk to her."
So Kevin and I had a conversation, and I became the brand ambassador for American Tackle in 22. And then when Foundation took over,
right,
basically just got both of them together last year. So the last 2 years. So it's been 3 years technically working with the companies. But Fog brand ambassador for the last 2 years, and American Tackle before that. So
was that about the time that I think I met y'all? Did that happen at iCrib? Is when that happened?
Yeah, that was at. We were at ICAST for the first time that year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You and Stephanie was there.
That was last year, not 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Not this past year, the year before.
Year before was just me. This past year, sorry. 3 years ago it was just me. 2 years ago was me and Stephanie there, right. And then this year it was just us.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, wait a minute, no, I'm missing something in there.
Yeah, but yeah, I just I wanted y'all on just because I mean, I've been watching some of your stuff. I don't always get and I didn't put down what time. Do y'all do a podcast every week?
It's every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
What day do y'all usually do that?
It's always a Saturday at 9 p.m. for us. We do it live, and then I take it and edit it down, and then it is published for YouTube for shorter content on Tuesdays the next week. But
I got you.
We just did one this past Saturday.
Yep, and put it back.
Yeah, because I think we talked and you said, "Hey, our podcast is going to start. I'll look at it later."
Yeah,
and that's when I did the flyer and couldn't spell right. So yeah.
I was like, it looks great, but decorative's not right.
Yeah, right. And then at 3 a.m. I changed the one, and you said, "Yeah, that looks better," but the bottom one doesn't. I spell like I talk, so yeah, it gets confusing to me sometimes too. So I sound out like 50 syllables, and yeah, sometimes I get it wrong. But yeah, spell check didn't work that time. Usually spell check is all over it. Yeah. So what's I know you're going to be doing an advanced class. Do y'all have any other plans coming up after the first of the year, or?
Well,
I know you announced something about. You said some info about the something challenge.
Yeah, the Mudhole Rod Building Challenge. So, at the International Custom Rod Building Expo, that's in February. They always have the International Custom Rod Building Challenge there. Well,
Right.
American Tackle had it the last 2 years. Mudhole picked it up, so now it's the Mudhole Rod Building Challenge. So
Okay.
we're going to be doing those advanced classes at some point at the beginning of the year, and then going to the expo. And then if we can, we're going to try to be back at Foley again next year. And then it'll probably end up being ICAST. And then I don't know what the rest of the year is going to look like. We are trying to get a gathering kind of together for
sometime in between there.
December, just for the Southern Rod Builders group. We always try to do like a gift exchange for the group, and they had requested for us to do it in person this time instead of doing it on Facebook Live. So we're like, we'll see about hanging out. We just got to figure out a date that works. So we're gonna try to get a little bit better at having gatherings at least once or twice a year. It's just really hard with the kids and the dogs.
Yeah. Now, how far do y'all live from Low Country?
About 2-3 hours, depending on which area you go
to. Y'all more in the center, kind of
south of Charlotte.
Okay.
Well, 20 minutes from Charlotte.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's one of my. If I had the extra money, I'd probably have me a little shack or something, because I like coming up there, and that's where I go fishing.
Yeah,
I like fishing that area. Yeah, and some of the stuff I'm fixing to start doing, since 13, 14, I've missed out on a lot of fishing trips. I don't know if y'all are I get invited all the time, and I don't get to go because right when I think I can go, you get a phone call, hey, I need 10 rods. Really? Can you have them done? Yeah. So,
this was the first year we took a vacation.
Yeah.
In like 2 years for us. So yeah, like we totally feel that.
Yeah. I mean, I have one guy literally, I think at least every other weekend, he has 2 places over on the West Coast that, hey, I'm fishing this weekend. You coming? Nope. Somebody called. I'm like, crap. Yeah, I actually thought about start doing Oscar and peacock bass guide fishing, just just like a couple times a month. Nothing full time, but yeah, I like doing my other. I kind of like doing construction. I've been doing it forever, but now I've gotten to a point I can just point fingers, so which makes it nicer.
Yeah.
But trying to think. I mean, we're getting close to the end. What is there anything y'all want to talk about far as I know I listed pretty much where everybody can find you, but is there any like classes, or is it what you have on Thread Central? Is that you already have done the classes and they can sign up to take them?
Yeah.
Just watch them.
Yeah. So I built them like courses to where they get video content along with some text, and you can watch it at your own pace. It's not a time thing. It's once you pay for it, you got access for life, so you can constantly go back and keep rewatching it and stuff like that. So you just can't download it. You have to go into the site to actually be able to watch it.
I got you.
But yeah, those are all ones that I've done already in the past, and people can take when they feel like it.
Do you have like a package where they can buy the layout and everything else? I mean, is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just
that is basically like in each course, like you are set up for that pattern with the layout and everything for it. Kind of had an idea about what you're talking about for kind of trying to make it a little bit more just here's this and here's this layout and here's all the multiple ways you could do the layout, but in like a PDF kind of form.
Right.
I've been mulling around with that idea. I just haven't got there yet. There's so much up here that I just don't physically have time to get it all done.
300 tabs open, music playing somewhere.
The train ran by and derailed. I don't really know what happened to it.
Yeah.
I got a laundry list of stuff that I'm working on, believe me.
Yeah, that's how my brain works. If I don't catch it while it goes by, I just wait for it to come back around.
It'll come back.
Um, so you're basically Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
Facebook.
Facebook.
Yep.
And then Thread is threadcentral.net,
Yep.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
And is that far as if anybody had questions and want to get in touch with you, is that the best way to get in touch with you, or just message you on any of the platforms? Or
They can message me on any of the platforms, or they can just send me email directly, and it's just TheDecorativeStudio@gmail.com.
Okay.
Same as the business name. You can go through Thread Central, but it's going to take you through, like, it goes to David first because he's the site manager, and then he has to pass that along to me. Without all that hoopla, you just go straight to the source. I don't have a problem with people messaging me. I answer whenever I get a chance to.
Yeah. Is there, I mean, anything else y'all want to say, do? No?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, look, sorry about all the, it's live. Had some hiccups tonight, but I appreciate y'all coming on. I mean, I feel like I know a little bit more about y'all. And if anybody's still watching or listening, go check out all their sites because they do pretty neat stuff. I wish I had known about it before I now want to get rid of all my stuff. But anyway. But I appreciate y'all coming on, taking the time, and let me know when y'all get y'all are coming back down here, and I'll take y'all out.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and I hope y'all have a good rest of the week.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so yeah, kind of messed up. Didn't bring my camera. It's more than that, and this audio mixer I got is echoing all in my ear. The reverb is driving me nuts, and just out of the blue, it will mute. So there it went. That is amazing. Amazing. I sound like wow. It is crazy. I talked about it, and now it's anyway. All right. Look, I appreciate y'all being here, Clayton. I see you. I appreciate you taking the time to quit fishing, to hang out with me for a little bit. But let me see if by some miracle this plays. I'm just curious. Nope. So it was playing before I started the live stuff. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'm probably gonna have to go with a different audio mixer. Will not be having the Thursday night show because I will be in Denver. Maybe have the Friday night show if I can talk my daughter into doing it with me in Denver somewhere. I don't know. I'm taking all my portable mics that actually work. So anyway, if I don't do anything Friday, I'll be back Tuesday with Urban Fishing Outlaws. Tune in for that. I promise I will have everything ready to go. Anyway, y'all have a good evening. Appreciate y'all being here. I was going to end with a, yeah, and it just not going to do it. Not going to do it. All right. Later. See y'all later.